All right. I'd like to talk about how to efficiently plan balanced quality practices. Okay, we're all busy. We don't want to be taking forever planning. We want to have a nice system for how we plan. We want to make sure when we're planning balanced practices so that our players aren't just getting better at one thing or two things, but really at all the qualities we want them to get better at. And also, we want to make sure our practices are high quality, because really the biggest thing in the success of our program long term is if the players we get consistently get balanced quality practices. If they're consistently getting put through balanced high quality practices, then they're going to get better and we're going to get better. Okay, so the way I do this is I have four main blocks that I think in terms of when I'm making practice, and I usually hit all four of them in a single practice. So the first block, which I usually start practice off with, is pass/catch skills work. This is super critical for advancing our players and being able to play games and play dynamically. They need the basic skill work. Usually at the beginning of the season, this can be a significant portion, maybe as much as I have 2-hour practices. At the beginning of the season, I'll sometimes spend as much as 40 minutes on something like this. But it is also, if we cover the basics really well and we drill them really well, something that can get shortened to as short as maybe 15 minutes at the beginning of a 2-hour practice, depending on what needs to get done. And here's, just to be specific, what I'm talking is like basic push pass work. So I wouldn't really, I generally don't coach spin passing to the whole team. I don't think it really is that necessary. The forwards just need a push pass for the most part. So when I do full team pass and catch work, I usually just drill basic push pass technique, simple drills, partner passing, L drill, 2v1s, which kind of gets us to this mini game / situations. I could talk more about that, but a lot of just lots of reps at passing and catching for this block. That's the goal there. All right, and then our second block is contact skills work, and we're talking about working on tackling, rucking, ball carrying, and then mini contact games / situations that drill multiple things at a time, where you have a ball carrier getting tackled and then a ruck forming with various parameters and goals. But yeah, drills that isolate specifically tackling, drills that isolate specifically rucking, drills that isolate specifically the qualities of ball carrying well and the details, and then these things that put it together. So that'd be contact skills work, which is obviously critical because that's such a huge portion of the game. My third block is split time, and I want to talk about how this is not actually something I've done clearly in the past, but I want to next season. I want to be really clear that there are two options for split time and that they're different. Okay, so option A is splitting forwards and backs, which is our traditional split time. But I want to emphasize that when we split forwards and backs, we should be doing scrum and line out work on the forward side, and on the back side, main things they should be doing for the most part are spin pass work, so that they can, your scrum half, your fly half, your centers, etc., they can spin pass really well. And really the wings also, because oftentimes wings will transition to center as they get more experienced in our program. But either way, we want our backs to be really skillful. Kicking, this isn't a big part of the game at the younger ages, but it is and should be at the older ages, and we want to start them kicking early. And then set piece plays, which honestly I don't do nearly as much work on this as I do on other stuff, but it is worth doing some piece plays. But anyways, on the other side of it, the other type of split time would be splitting by B-channel pod forwards. Hey buddy, give me a minute, Daddy's filming a video. We'd be splitting by B-channel pod forwards and wide attacking groups. So when we split, and then our 9 and 10, 9, 10, and 15 could go either way. For the most part, the 15 will go this way. The 10 could go either way. The 9 could go either way, but often the 9 could go maybe even more so this way. Anyways, and then if you don't have forwards who are always one in one or the other, they could spend half the time with the B channel working on pod work, and then half the time with the backs doing wide attack. But yeah, we want them working together. If we do a traditional split always, and all the forwards do forward work while the backs work on stuff, then when the forwards get sent out to work with the backs, their chemistry will be terrible and they won't be together on attack. And I've seen that too much, so I want to stop doing that and do more of splitting like this. Okay, and then the final time is large number games. This is the fourth block that I'll do. Large number games and system work. Okay, so that's like scrimmaging. I don't do a ton of scrimmaging at the high school age just because they beat each other up a lot more. But at the younger ages, I really think they should scrimmage a lot. But also, if you think there's too much or you just want to work on some specific kind of IQ sort of stuff without quite as much physicality, touch is a great option. I will do hybrid, kind of like partial contact, like what I call shoulders on with live rucks is something that I'll do to have a fair amount of contact without beating my guys up too much. But anyways, and then offensive and / defensive system work. Hey, buddy, just a minute. Offensive and defensive system work is another big one. Maybe not quite as big at the younger ages, but we want to have a system. We want to keep it simple so it's easy to understand. It doesn't take too much time, but we do want to make sure we teach it to them and consistently drill them on it. Same thing defensively, which is even more simple, but we have a basic system and we should kind of drill them on it from time to time. And this is something you can often do at the same time. One coach focusing on offense, the other on defense, depending on how you're doing it. But anyways, those are the 4 main blocks. And usually what I do with a 2-hour practice is I just think if I have 120 minutes, then I do, maybe 30, 30, 30, and 30 is a really obvious split. But maybe, especially as I get towards the back end of the season, if I've done enough work on pass and catch, then maybe this one starts to go down to like 15 minutes. And this one at the end starts to go up to like 45 minutes. I usually am pretty consistent about these two, especially the contact work, getting a full 30. But also maybe on the tail end of the season, our lineouts functioning and our scrums functioning decently well, but we're just not making the tackles as consistently as we'd like to. Maybe we do something like that. Anyways, you can manipulate these numbers, but I pretty much never eliminate any single block. There's never a practice in which we don't do passing work. There's never a practice in which we don't do contact work. Even if they're beat up and I have to keep it light and it's mostly hitting pads or very low speed technical work, it's got to be there. Same thing. Split time. Split time is really the most likely of the 3. If I'm going to cut any block out completely, it'd be split time. But the forwards, especially at our level at the high school, they really need a lot of time, especially on lineouts, and the backs need time to develop skills. But anyways, this is definitely this block 3 is the most dispensable of all 3. If you guys with 90-minute practices, and especially at like the U10, U12 level, there's a lot less necessity to practice scrums and lineouts. You might only think in terms of these 3 blocks for the most part, and just do your pass and catch work, your contact skills work, and your large number games, and do 30, 30, and 30. Or maybe you want to play more games once you've drilled enough of this, so you do like 20, 30, and 40 with your passing skills at the beginning, your contact in the middle, and then you end with a lot of kind of like scrimmage style stuff to get them playing lots of rugby. And then just to kind of reiterate the balance part of this, we want to produce balanced players that are skillful. They want to be skillful in a general sense, contact able, shall we say. Want them to be really good at contact. We want them to have their position skills nailed down. If they're a 10, they can kick. If they're a 9, they've got a great scrum half pass. If they're a hooker, they've got a good throw. If they're a lock, they know how to jump well, and they've drilled their position skills, those like group skills. And then lastly, that final section is a lot about IQ and kind of putting it all together. And if we consistently drill all 4 of these things, they have general skills, they're good in contact, they're good at their position-specific work, and they have a high IQ and can put it all together in game situations, then we'll be creating good players. So that's how I make balanced, efficient practices.